This is Minister Gail on Learning Hebrew in Psalm 119. If you get your Bible, if any version, and turn to Psalm 119, we can learn the Hebrew alphabet. In your Bible and in the Hebrew Bible, the letters are Alephbet, the first two letters in Psalm 119. And so you have been saying Hebrew. The word alphabet is a Hebrew word. You have been saying it all along. So it's Alephbet is the first two letters. In the book of Psalms, if you go to 119, it is the third section of the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew Bible is divided up into three sections. The King James is in 5. It has the exact same 39 books, just divided up differently. The Hebrew Tehillim is for praises. The I is pronounced like an E. The Psalms is the first book of the Ketuvim writings in the Hebrew Tanakh. The first verse, Psalm 119:1, is for the first letter. It's Aleph, A-L-E-P-H. It can be also spelled with an F or the PH, like Phyllis. It interchanges in the Hebrew pronunciation. This will be a mark in the Hebrew word. It will be an apostrophe or a mark. Sometimes they leave it out. Sometimes they put it in. So when you see this Aleph in a Hebrew word, it will be written in the word as an apostrophe or not at all. So in the first 8 verses, they're divided in groups of 8. Each letter has 8 verses. And since we don't see the Hebrew, we are missing that it is the alphabet. Because in the Hebrew, the first letter of each verse of each group of 8 matches the Hebrew alphabet. So this is Aleph, 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 Aleph. Now in the Hebrew language, they do not use digits like 1, 2, 3, 4 like we do. They use a letter for a number. So the Aleph has the value of number 1. So this is the verse number 1 is written as an Aleph. Verse number 2 is written as the Bet. So they will not have digital numbers. They have letters for numbers. Everything has a name. All the way down. These are all letters for numbers. The second letter is B for Beth, B-E-T-H, or B-E-T. Both are correct for the pronunciation of the letter. But the letter is going to be a symbol, a picture. It's Pictionary. So this letter or picture is going to be for the letter B. It has a dot in it, and that will always be written and pronounced as a B. When the dot is missing, there's no dot. Then it's written as a B, but pronounced as a V. It's written as a B, but pronounced as a V. This also has 8 verses, and each verse starts with the letter B. The next letter is G. Gimel, because the I is pronounced like an E. Gimel. It's spelled with 1 M, G-I-M-E-L, or with 2 M's, G-I-M-M-E-L. Both are correct. And each verse will start with a G, the letter G. The next letter is D for Dalet. Dalet, D-A-L-E-T-H. Also D-A-L-E-T, both are correct. The word for that letter is Dalet or Daleth. It is for the letter D. Each verse will start with the letter D. The next letter is for H, H-E. It's H-E or it can be H-E-H. Notice this, there's an opening here on the left side. This is pronounced H or he. It has the breath, inspiration, revelation. It's the fifth letter. And it has an opening here for the air to go in and out. You will always remember it by that way, by the opening over here on the left. And each verse starts with the H or H-E. The next group, the sixth letter, starts with V-A-U, and it will be for the letter V or a W, sometimes a U or an O, depending if there's a dot there. Without the dot, it is a V or a W. V-A-U, it can be V-A-V, W-A-U, or W-A-W, but this is the number for 6, the letter for man or a tent peg or a nail. This is verse 41 through 48 is the Hebrew letters for V or W. Each verse starts with the V. The next letter is the 7th letter, and it looks like a 7. It's for Z, Zorro, sword. And it's pronounced Zayin because the I is pronounced like an E. It can be spelled with a Y also, Zayin. Both are correct. This is verse 49 for Z, the letter Z, and it looks like a 7. It is the 7th letter. Looks like a sword pointing down, the handle of the sword there. Z, Zayin. The next letter is CH. This has a closed H, CH. It will be a guttural sound like ch, like bach. So this is cheth, cheth. It also can be spelled with just a T, chet, or it will be cheth. It's C-H-E-T-H for the letter C-H, for the letters C-H. Each verse starts with the C-H. Just remember it's a closed H. A closed H. There's no opening here on the left side. It's closed. The next letter is T-E. Sometimes it'll be a T. It is spelled T-E-T-H, verse 65 for the letter T-E or sometimes a T. It can be spelled tet with a T or teth with a T-E-T-H. This is the 9th letter. The value of 9, T-E. This is the 10th letter, the power letter. It is a Y, which is a consonant in Hebrew, not a vowel. And sometimes with a dot, it'll be an I sound. There is no J in Hebrew. None exists. They added it. They added the J. They took the Y out and replaced it with a J. That is a Catholic Roman translation. So in the Hebrew translation to English, it's Yod, Yod, Y-O-D. In the King James translation, it had J-O-D. It's supposed to be Y, Y-O-D. So the King James has it under with the Roman translation. Each verse starts with the Yod, Yod, Yod. Remember, these are the numbers in Hebrew. As I said, there is no J in Hebrew. In the Old Testament, you'll find Jehovah in there 4 times with a J. The rest of the times, it's in there as the Lord, capital L-O-R-D. It would always be capitalized. And when you look it up in the Hebrew, Strong's Concordance, it's H3068, and it will have Yehovah for Jehovah. Even when you look up the Jehovah, it's translated as Yehovah. When you look up capital L-O-R-D, it's Yehovah. The Orthodox Jews don't even look at the vowels, and this is how they would write it out if they were going to write it, Yehovah, Y-H-V-H. And remember I said the V can be a W, So Yahweh is the exact same. Yahweh stands for Lord. These two are the exact same words for Lord. And when they see it written, they will not say Yehovah or Jehovah. They won't even say this, the Yehovah this way, the abbreviated form. They always use the word Adonai. When you see their blessings, it'll be the YHVH Hebrew letters, and you'll hear them say Adonai when it spells YHVH, because they won't even say the name of the Lord. The next letter is for K, sometimes written as a C or KA and a KH. In the Hebrew translation to English, it had KAPH. Verse 81 in the King James had CAPH. Exact same letter, but it's supposed to be a K, not a C. When the dot is inside of it, it is a hard sound for K, kaf, or ket. Back here can be KAF or PH, that interchanges. Without the dot, it's going to be the guttural sound, chaf, chaf. These are both sound the same, KHAF, KHAPH, chaf, chaf. So it will be without the dot, it's a KH. With the dot, it's a K, sometimes written as a C or a KA. Verse 81 is the K or KH. The next one is L, lamed, lamed for L. Lamed, verse 89. That group of 8 will have all the lameds starting in front. This is the tallest letter in the Hebrew alphabet. It sits above the line. And this is L for lamed, L. M. This is the letter M for mem. M-E-M. Verse 97 is the letter M. That group of 8 is starts with M. M-E-M. The next letter is N, and this is pronounced noon. It's spelled N-U-N, but it's N for the letter N, and it's pronounced noon. All verses start with the noon letter, the N. 105 through 112 is for the letter N. N. The next letter is S, samech, samech, and it has this at the back end of it also with the CH, the guttural sound. So they will say samech, and this is not an O, this is an S. The Romans and Greeks were confused, and they thought that was an O and changed it to an O in their new inverted alphabet that they made. Even on Google Images, sometimes the Hebrew is incorrect from English educators. This is an S, not an O in Hebrew. Samech or samech. This is the 16th letter for the I, ayin, A-Y-I-N, or A-I-N, ayin. Remember, the I is pronounced like an E. It can be written either way, but in the word, it's going to be a mark or an apostrophe, exactly the same as the Aleph. When you see this letter in a word, it is only for an apostrophe or a mark. It is not for a letter like A or I or O. This is only going to be an apostrophe in the word. Sometimes they put it in, sometimes they don't. So if you see this ayin, it's not an A, it's just an apostrophe. And sometimes they leave it off the word, they don't even write it. The next one is P or PH or F. PE, verse 129 is the P series. Each verse starts with the letter P. When there's a dot in it, it has the hard sound of a P, and it will be pay or pay with an H or without an H. When they take the dot out, it becomes fay or fay with an F or PH. It sometimes can be written P-H-A-Y or F-A-Y or F-E-Y. They make it all different, but it's going to be the F sound or the PH sound like Phyllis. All you need to know is that letter means an F or PH when you see the word, Hebrew word. The next one for verse 137 is Tzade, T-Z-A-D-E. The King James Version had T-Z-A-D-D-I, but all we're going to pay attention to is the T-Z. Sometimes it's T-S, the branch of righteousness, the tree of life. So this is T-Z or T-S. When you see that letter in a Hebrew word, it's a T-S or a T-Z, meaning righteousness or the tree of life. Verse 145 is Qoph, Q-O-P-H is how it's supposed to be written, or a Q-O-F. Either one is correct because the P-H is an F. Sometimes they'll put a K. So the King James Version put K-O-P-H. It's supposed to be a Q. The 19th letter is a Q. Sometimes the words will be written with the K-O-P-H, but it's supposed to be a Q for the queen, the woman, the bride. The next letter is R for Resh, R-E-S-H. This is for the letter R. So here's what this looks like, and it has a little longer top on it, a bigger head on it than the 6th letter for Val. This is Resh, has a little longer head on it. That's how you can tell the difference. Each verse will start with the letter R, Resh. The 21st letter is written 2 different ways. For the SH, sh, it will have a dot on the right side of the letter. That is a dot over here. And in the King James, it was written S-C-H-I-N. It's supposed to be S-H-I-N. That's the Hebrew to English is S-H-I-N, verse 161. And when the dot is on the left side, then it's S-I-N, or S or an S-I. You'll see an S or an S-I. Sin, seen. The I is pronounced like an E. So it's sheen or seen. So when you go through the Hebrew, the dot's on the left. So that's going to be an S or S-I. S-I. The dot's on the right. So that'll be an S-H like shalom. The dot's on the right, shalom. S-H. The dot's on the left. So it'll be a S or S-I. The dot's on the right. It will be a S-H. S-H, like shalom, has just an S-H. The last letter, the 22nd letter in the Hebrew basic alphabet, is Tav, T-A-V. The King James Version had T-A-U, but it's supposed to be T-A-V, but this is for the letter T. When there's a dot in there, it is a hard sound for T. Without the dot, it's a T-H. With the dot, it's a T. It can be written T-A-V, T-A-U. Once in a while, I found it written out as an S-A-V. It's a T. So each verse from 169 to 176 starts with a T in the Hebrew. All these are a T. If they had no dot, the word would start with a T-H. So that is the end of the 22 basic letters. In Psalm 119 is the complete alphabet with basic letters. We have the blood on the door. If you go to Google search Minister Gail, I have other classes available on my YouTube channel, more on salvation, the Strong's Concordance, and Hebrew classes. This class was created and published by me only for outreach and free class instruction through my nonprofit gospel hobby ministry. It is to be used for education and teaching purposes only and should not be copied or sold online or through other private entities. Thank you for joining the class today. Please subscribe and click the alert bell. If you go to Google search and type in Minister Gail Teacher, you will see all the classes that I have available on YouTube.